I think there is absolutely no doubt that football's financial flow just isn't fair and doesn't work for vast majority of football, and that needs to change. I mean, there's no doubt about it. When you look at the parachute payments that come in around £50 million in the first year to just one club that gets relegated, one failed club that gets relegated from the Premier League, that amount of money is actually more than the Premier League gives to all the clubs of League One, League Two, National League North, National League South, and all the clubs in the top two tiers of the women's game. That's clearly not sustainable. That's clearly not fair. That's one club getting more than 140 others. And the amount that that could give to transform all those other clubs would just be brilliant. And that's really what we need to look at. Leaving that decision to the Premier League, who obviously have a vested interest in that, or the EFL, whose voting structures at the moment really favour the top end of the championship, doesn't really look at the wider ecosystem within football. And that's what we need to look at. That's what we need to address. If we're looking at really rewarding and giving benefit to the really hard-working community clubs throughout the game, that's what we need to do. And for that, the Premier League, we're talking peanuts. But for a club like, say, Southend United or Cambridge United or Carlisle United or Ebbsfleet or Barrow or whatever, those clubs would be absolutely transformed with the revenue that we could get. And that's why we really need to look at redistribution. Let's look at football holistically. I mean, with those funds, what do those clubs spend it on? They spend it in their local community. They spend it on their academy programs. They spend it on stadiums. Makes the experience of the local community so much better. Turns those football clubs into hubs. And that would be so good for not just for football, but for society in the UK as a whole. And that's what football really can do. That's why we need to have that redistribution looked at not through the eyes of the Premier League and the EFL, but through a proper independent regulator that can have that ability to look at it in a much more holistic approach.